Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mandalorian Half-Hour. That's right, our new exclusive Star Wars program recapping this first season of The Mandalorian. I'm Andrew Jupin, joined remotely by the whole gang, Eric Siska, Christopher Cabin, and Steven Sadak.
Hi.
I mean, it's logistically, this is the only way we could record a TV recap podcast right now is by doing it remotely.
Definitely.
Right,
and logistically, I think it makes sense for all of us to just shout out our addresses one at a time. No.
Sorry. No, I'm supposed to not do that. Okay.
So this episode is out on the main feed, this first episode, because we wanted to give everyone a taste, give you a little whiff of what the Mandalorian Half-Hour is going to be. But all episodes going forward are going to be featured, of course, on our Patreon, patreon.com/WeHateMovies. It's going to be on the $8 level, which also has our Gleep Glossary, speaking of Star Wars. What else we got on there? The Nexus, Eric Siska? That's
that's where we recap an episode of Star Trek, the original series, and episode of Star Trek The Next Generation in the same episode. So if you like this TV recap podcast, you might like that one.
And in December, if you're on the $8 feed, you're going to get a episode on First Contact, like a real main feeder kind of an episode only on that feed. And you're going to get a Predator commentary, because we do syncable commentary tracks 4 times a year. This year we're doing Predator in December. We did the Twilight movie. We did something else and something else.
We did multiple Twilight movies this year, I believe, to wrap out the franchise.
Yeah, we do Power Hour stuff. They're really fun apps. You also get what's on the $5 feed, which is the complete archive of our first 100 episodes, 100 some odd episodes, which are only available there. You get a monthly episode that is a We Love Movies episode now. It used to be a Prime We Hate Movies episode. We just released Terminator. We're going to record and release Empire Strikes Back in December, which you're going to be pretty excited about if you're like the Star Wars thing. You also get what's on the $3 level, which is Animation Damnation, which is a 30-minute-ish cartoon wrap-up of a bunch of stuff. And now with Disney Plus, I feel like we're going to be hitting that well pretty hard for a little while.
I got to tell you, I was looking at some stuff, and not only is Disney Plus providing Animation Damnation with years of content, it's also providing We Hate Movies with years of content.
Oh, sure.
Love movies with years of content. It's fucking bonkers. So stay tuned for all that stuff. And yeah, like you can probably start feeling a little bit this December. We're going to be going fucking Star Wars crazy around here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, head on over patreon.com/WeHateMovies if you want access to the rest of the Mandalorian Half-Hour. But so let's get into it. The Mandalorian, Episode 1, Chapter 1. They do these chapters. I really like that. This was written by the Favs, man. This is like kind of Jon Favreau's show a little bit. I don't know. Where do we want to start here? This is fucking badass. That's what I have to say.
It's him and the guy who did the Clone Wars, right, Eric?
Yeah, he's also done Rebels as well. Dave Filoni?
Yes. Yeah.
I liked the first and we'll get into the second episode in the second episode. I liked the first episode a lot more than the second episode. I thought that
I was expecting you to have the opposite reaction.
No, I thought this first one was really cool. I love the cold open here, or you want to call it a cold open, him going into this like fucking space bar, which is exactly what you kind of expect but want. It does give you exactly what you expect but also want and need.
Exactly. Like that's
Oh, totally.
I'm not looking for surprises here or anything like that. It's like, when I go into a like weed session, I know and expect what's going to happen, and it does, and it's great. And that was what it was like with the Mandalorian. I was like, I expect this motherfucker to walk into a bar, fuck some dudes up, like, swiftly, silently. Some dude yells Echuta at him, which is fucking great.
Oh, I missed Echuta. God damn it.
Dude, it's the fat, like, skinhead guy. He definitely just yells out Echuta.
The skinhead guy. He goes into that whole "you spilled my drink" thing, and the best part, obviously, of this bar fight is when the dude is trying to get away, and the Mandalorian uses his rope on him, starts pulling him, and the dude, draws his blaster to shoot back, and he just cuts him in half with the door in response.
Oh, so cool.
My favorite part of this scene is when the two toughs are talking about how the guy's got Horatio Sands alien. He has young glands that have a good musk. Like, I really like the idea. That's like an incredible idea that like they're just killing people and taking parts of them as things they can sell and use. Like that to me was immediate. Like, oh fuck, okay, they're doing stuff. Cool.
Is like someone going to eat that gland in order to like get high or something? Is that what we're doing here?
I think that's what it is, dude. You crack it open and it's like, oh.
It makes total sense. You would do that because, like, yeah, you got all these fucking, like, yeah, if you're a carnivore, like, you're sitting next to, I mean, they later kind of allude to people eating salacious crumbs and, like, yeah, totally, man.
Oh, man,
that guy looks fucking delicious.
Let me tell you, those fucking puppets, the one puppet cooking up on that spit, God bless it. There are out-and-out puppets on this show, and I think it's a really great idea.
Apparently, some of the shots in space of the Mandalorian ship is model work. And
yes, yeah.
Great to see them bring back some practicality like that.
Oh, Cabin, I thought you were joking about that dude Mythrol or whatever, but that's actually Horatio
That's
Sands.
actually Horatio Sands.
That makes sense. I was like, it's one of those things where I was like, who the hell is this guy? And it makes so much sense that it's Horatio Sands. You also get some Brian Posehn coming up in a minute.
That's what. So last night when
Brian Posehn as a Star Wars Uber driver.
I would say, like last night when I texted everybody, and I was like, did everybody watch it yet? And Steve, you hadn't. So I wasn't going to spoil it, but I was just going to type all capital letters, Brian Posehn in Star Wars.
It's sad that he doesn't come back though, because he doesn't make it. Yeah, because he cuts this guy open. There is no theme song; it's just kind of like a Stark the Mandalorian Chapter 1 kind of a thing.
Right.
And then he gets the Uber driver, the dude, and it's kind of it's an ice planet. You didn't know it was an ice planet. It's a cool ice planet. I like that.
I like this ice planet. Yeah, I like also that like when the dude like plays that little flute and the first little speeder comes up and it's piloted by a droid and the Mandalorian's like, no droids. Fucking wow, racist bounty hunter,
big time racist.
See, I took that more as like a boomer thing because he doesn't trust.
What?
Like, I don't trust no automated computers. I need an old scumbag driving me around.
I'd like one old scumbag.
You got any alt 90s comedians you can get me to drive around with? Horatio Sands or Dana Gould by any chance?
Yeah, this is your dad, the Mandalorian. Could you help me install Chrome on my computer?
Oh my God, are you referencing my tweet from today when I was hungover helping my dad over FaceTime install Chrome?
Yeah, but that transcends all boomers. I've had that exact same experience before.
Oh my God! But just like, and I've had it happen 100 times. But just the fact that I was hungover, like that really wasn't helping things.
No, you don't want to. And a FaceTime especially. That's the last thing I want to do when I'm hungover.
Totally.
Can I quickly mention something important about the armor of the Mandalorian?
Please.
Yeah, explain this whole thing to me because this was kind of lost on me.
Okay, it might be lost on me too because what I'm going to talk about right now is the lack of codpiece.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't.
See, Boba Fett had like a dick armor.
But it seems like maybe he needs to unlock that because that's what when he gets that thing from Werner Herzog, it's like cool. Like now, not only do I have some cash in my pocket, I got a cool new shoulder pad. So he has to do like a couple more jobs, and then he can get his dick protected.
Right, and now this is Beskar steel, I believe we're calling it now. Now, when I was a big fan of Fett in the 90s and stuff, the word Mandalorian kind of just started and stopped at the armor.
Right.
You didn't get much of that backstory. Some of these Clone Wars episodes and Rebels episodes explore Mandalorian culture. I think they're like warring clans and noble warrior type of stuff. And in Rebels, I think the Empire uses Beskar steel as like a connectivity thing to like fry them up with Tesla coils.
Oh, interesting.
Well, so what is the deal with this steel though? Like, did they find it first or harvest it or whatever?
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be native to Mandalorian culture or planet.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's also supposed to be resistant to blasters. So it's actually functioning armor, not like the cardboard they give to the stormtroopers.
I never met a Mandalorian before. I thought your dick would be covered.
I thought your dick would be covered. I have spoken.
Why don't you have a signet on your dick yet?
I only read their stories, but now they're legends and not canon.
Oh, yeah. Once Disney took over, all the stories I enjoyed are gone.
Have you seen what they did to my friend Simba? He looks like a computer widget.
So we will get to Nick Nolte as Kuil in a sec, but so he goes.
Oh, we got to talk about the ship.
Oh, sure.
Inside the ship, Horatio Sands finds the bathroom. It's cool that we get to see
Star
the
Wars
Mandalorian
toilet,
ship.
dude. I couldn't believe it. Is this the first time that's referenced?
I think so. It's a beautiful looking toilet. I love the design work of it. It looks easy enough to use as a urinal, and also take a shit by laying on the wall.
Yeah, you're kind of you're like leaning back, taking a dump. Yeah.
I mean, it takes 20 to 25 minutes for this guy to take a shit. Easy. Also, are we taking the helmet off or not? I know, like, culturally he doesn't. But if it's just him taking a shit, you know.
Dude, it's just he's totally naked except the helmet's on. He's just taking a dump.
I mean, like sometimes you will George Costanza yourself when you're really getting into it. You know, you take the shirt off.
Oh, I take my shirt off all the time. If I'm home, I don't do it in public. But if
Sure.
I'm home, I will take my shirt off in the toilet. Sure.
So yeah, it would make sense. Like he has some like hot fucking bantha wings or whatever, and it's just been a long night. The helmet's coming off while he's going for it.
Yeah, I can
Well,
see that.
you know, Jango Fett would take that helmet off nonstop. Like fucking Count Dooku's got some finger sandwiches. That helmet is coming off.
He seems like more of a Protestant Mandalorian.
Yes, oh definitely. Old school.
So the Mandalorian finds him like snooping around down there, pretending to look for the bathroom, and fucking freezes this dude in carbonite. It was awesome.
Yeah, so he's got all those other bounties frozen in carbonite, and I thought you guys would have a problem with this.
No,
Why would I have a problem with it?
I thought it was cool. I like the way that the scene kind of unfolds and is shot. It's like 20% a horror scene, like, you know what I mean? Like you're going
the
through.
way he discovers them.
Yes, and it's like ew, oh shit, it's me, and then he gets it. Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like obviously the technology is better. Speaking of technology, this is like. Do we know when this is set? Is it like
It's 5 years after Jedi, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's like a Mandalorian kind of just mimicking Fett's signature bounty. Like that only happened once before, but carbonite is now, I guess, becoming a standard thing to travel.
Yeah,
it's industry standard across all bounty hunter platforms.
Yeah, exactly. It's like air conditioning. It used to be, but I mean, it seemed like it was a big deal before. Now he's just got it on his ship. I don't know, man. It seems pretty tough.
It was cool because when you see the reveal of like the first person in carbonite and then the second, and I was like, oh, he's like collecting all these people. That's fucking awesome. But yeah, I did have the same thought of like freezing someone in carbonite. I thought that was only for the rich.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was some kind of fan art, I don't remember from when, that had like Fett with a bunch of aliens or whatnots in a cargo hold. I think they were frozen in carbonite. So I was just wondering, like, is this referencing fan art?
Oh, I mean, you never know. So he takes this dude in to Grief Karga, who's played by the great Carl Weathers. And I guess so this dude's like the leader of the bounty hunter guild or whatever.
Or higher up.
A union rep, probably.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. He's organizing all the jobs and everything. There's a big thing about like, the Mandalorian getting paid for this, that, and the other thing. And he's like, I can't give you, what is it? It's like he's going to pay him in a certain amount of currency.
He's going to give
Imperial
him
credits.
Oh, the Imperial credits, that's right.
And then he gives him calamari and flan.
It sounded like calamari and flan, Chris. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, at first he was going to pay him in like Confederate money.
Right.
And then he was going to give him the calamari flan, which they look like pogs.
They do, or the slammers.
Yeah, slammers. I can only pay you in slammers.
It's awesome seeing Carl Weathers in a fucking big product like this.
Yeah, I was into it. I mean, like, again, I want a little bit more of him, and obviously we're probably gonna get that. He's gonna go back. There's gonna be more stuff.
Oh, sure.
I really love the whole way the beginning rolls out, and then he goes to his like, then he meets up with Werner Herzog, which is probably my favorite scene because Werner
Hands
Herzog,
down.
he's bringing it, and like he's the only, a lot of the times, and especially in the second episode, it gets into video game cutscene territory a little too much for me. And this has some like dramatic heat to it and like some weight, and I think that's all on Herzog there.
I think that's
killing
also.
it, yeah.
I also think that's true of the Weathers scene because but it's a different kind because I love to talk about the different currencies.
Yes,
I think stuff like that is really where this show hones in on what it's trying to do and expanding and finding nuance in the world. But like. Watching Werner Herzog in a Star Wars production of any kind is just incredible.
and he's got that Imperial Medal of Honor. Do you think like Palpatine like gave him a kiss on the cheek or the hand or
No,
something?
dude, I think it's fucking 100% stolen valor.
No.
I think he fucking got that jacket in the ashes of the Empire, dude, and he was like, you know what? This looks pretty good on me. I'm going to start wearing it now.
Oh, yeah, man? What unit? What unit? I was at the Battle of Endor.
I don't know, man. I feel like that is a genocide achievement medal. Like, you know what I mean?
You
Like,
think so?
he fucking wiped out a fucking slew of Greedos somewhere, and the Emperor was like, good.
Genocide, good.
All for you, my Emperor.
And the dialogue in this scene is so good. I love the one line that the Mandalorian has where he likes the odds. That's 4-1. It's such a Snake Plissken line.
Dude, it was a definite Snake Plissken line. I loved it. Because this doctor walks in and the Mandalorian like freaks out and draws his rifle on this guy. And it's great though because the classic Herzog, man. I feel like Herzog would act like this in a real life scenario of the same kind, just keeping his cool. Everybody lower your weapons, like not freaking out at all that there could be a fucking massacre in his office.
Oh, he's been in a Mexican standoff.
Absolutely. So this dude is Dr. Pershing or whatever. And Herzog and this doctor tell the Mandalorian, like, hey, you got to go get this target. You know, we can't tell you who he is. 50 years old is the only thing we know about him. There's no, like, they have like a little tracking beacon or something. And the Mandalorian's basically like, so you want me to find this fucking GPS coordinate and then look around for a 50-year-old person. Okay.
It's kind of actually, this scene reminded me a little bit of that Mark Maron movie that came out this year, Sword of Trust.
Oh, great movie.
Really
Just
good
like,
movie.
you know, you're dealing with this dead army kind of a thing, and like all these like fucking weird zealots. You know, it's kind of I kind of liked it. It was an interesting. Like you said, I think the most interested I get in this series is when we're kind of checking in a fold of Star Wars that I haven't really that I've kind of always wanted to see and now I'm seeing kind of a thing, and like definitely disgraced Imperials post Battle of Endor is something that I'm very, very interested in.
Well, it's rad, and like Chris, I think you were touching on this a little bit too, but I really love this idea, and I guess this is what, you know, Eric, you get out of reading like the books and the comics and stuff, but like you're exploring different parts of the Star Wars world, and sometimes they're like really small. Like that's what I love about this show overall so far, is that it's really small. This is just a little tiny note from the Star Wars universe. It isn't a huge battle thing. You know what I mean? Like we're not, you know, winning a war or overthrowing whatever the fuck. It's just this lone dude on this mission, and we're going to follow him for 8 fucking under 40-minute episodes so far, which another brave, bold choice, Disney, not making this an hour long. Love it.
Yeah, it does seem like we're getting into some type of overarching storyline, which we'll get into the next episode 2, which should be available on Patreon now. But
right,
so he goes.
I would like it to just be the bounty hunting.
That's what we'll get into the next one. I kind of agree with you. I like the weird Scientology office he goes to for the Mandalorian base.
Oh, right. Yeah. Now this is like, it's like their temple / safe house / blacksmith shop.
Yeah. And so and this is where he meets like the Lady Mandalorian.
Yes. The Lady Orlean.
Lady Orlean, of course. She makes the little bar, like she melts it down and makes it into the piece of his armor kind of a thing.
What's her, was this somebody? I couldn't tell from anything else. She sounded like somebody. I don't know.
I don't know that for sure.
Everybody's somebody.
So. Eric?
She's the actress's name is Emily Swallow.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that she's been in anything that I've seen.
Eric, I have a question for you.
Please.
That face above the armorer's like workplace, you know, that metal, that looked very familiar. Is that somebody's face?
No, that's on Boba Fett's arm piece.
Oh, I didn't know your name was Eric.
Well, I just, you know what, dude?
Shit.
Here's the thing. You want to talk about stolen valor? I know about Star Wars too. Everyone asks Eric everything. And you know what? I know about fucking Star Wars too.
But I didn't ask you.
Yes, Mr. Sherman. Everything stinks.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's on Boba Fett's shoulder piece. I believe it's supposed to be rumored to be like a bantha skull. I'm sure the new EU stuff has fleshed it out a little more than that. I just need to dig in. I need to dig into this new stuff. I've been asking people on Twitter about the Clone Wars. Like, what are the good episodes? I feel like I'm missing pieces.
I
of
do
Star
want to
Wars.
kind of go back and check out those cartoons. I watched a little bit of Rebels and then fell off, but I did like it.
I really ended up enjoying Rebels on the whole. They do have some Mandalorian episodes in there. I could never get into the Clone Wars stuff though because I thought it was reprehensible. The animation I don't think was there yet.
It is kind of tough on the eyes in 2019 especially.
I will say I did if I'm Werner Herzog, and he kind of expresses this too, he's super stoked to have a Mandalorian. I would be hitting if I'm doing like my Uber for bounty hunting, I'm hitting Mandalorian every time. I'll pay the extra.
Absolutely, dude. I don't want to get stuck with a fucking IG unit. Get out of here.
That IG unit fucking rules in this episode.
He's amazing.
So the Mandalorian, he goes to, it's a planet called Arvala 7. He's almost killed by these two hog beast things. This is where he's saved by Nick Nolte, I guess he is a vapor farmer, right?
Yeah.
Like a moisture farmer? Yeah, I don't know. I just use like an Ugnaught that's retired there, right?
I pulled an Eric Siska and I did some reading on this. He is a vapor farmer.
Oh, okay.
And the blurgs, I know those are from Rebels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they looked a little familiar. Yeah, they're like these fucking fish pigs.
Yeah.
They do look like fish pigs. That's totally accurate, actually.
And he gets into trouble. He saves him, and he's like, "You have to learn how to ride one for some reason." And this is again where, to me, this gets a little video gamey. You got to get your fucking press X to ride.
No, this is fucking great because it's like a Western. This is a horse. We're gonna break a horse. We're gonna tame a horse.
No, and that's what I love about this. Is this first episode? It clearly sets up right away. We're doing a Western thing, kind of harder than they even do it in like the original trilogy. Because like he's mostly on just this one planet for the whole episode, but Steve, I think to what you're saying about him training how to ride the Blorg or whatever, like it's it's going to be a small story. Like I think like this journey of his is not going to take him that long, kind of thing. So like, if you want to stop and just take a second and have these little like side things, I love it. I mean, the whole second episode, which we'll talk about on the next episode, is basically like a side mission.
Yes, it just feels very transactional each and every time, and I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, this one was sort of. And it was fun to watch him do it. And
yeah, but there's some great dialogue in here. And there's a lot of stuff in this episode, like specifically, that's almost canonizing the holiday special because Horatio Sands mentions Life Day.
Oh, right.
And then the trident thing he uses is also like a rifle that it's totally what Fett is like holding when he's riding that dinosaur in the holiday special.
Oh, I forgot about the dinosaur. It's like the cartoon.
Yes, the cartoon part. Yeah,
and that's not a dinosaur, ladies and gentlemen. That's the mythosaur that he's talking about.
Thank you, Chris, because I was gonna mention Nick Nolte says, "What do you mean you can't ride Blurn? You're a Mandalorian. Your ancestors rode the mythosaur.
You are a Mandalorian."
I do love it. It's
so great.
And actually, like he looks great as an Ugnaught. Is it mostly puppet with some CG or just really good CG? I can't tell.
I was talking about this with a friend at work, and he was hypothesizing that it's Nolte doing like facial capture stuff.
Mm-hmm. Man.
And it looks like puppet to me.
It looked
very
puppety.
Puppet.
It looked puppet-esque,
really?
Yeah. To me, anyway. Yeah.
The face looks very puppety.
Get at us on Twitter. I'm sorry somebody knows. Now I'm just imagining some poor fucking intern like, Mr. Nolte, please stand still while I put these dots on your face.
Oh, God damn it! I can't believe I'm in the fucking Mandalorian.
John fucking Favreau wouldn't cast me in Swingers, but he'll cast me in this.
Oh, him in Swingers would be so wonderful.
You are a Mandalorian swinger.
You're so goddamn money. Oh, you're money, baby. You don't even fucking know it. You're all grown up, Mandalorian. You're grown up.
So he trades him how to ride these blurgs, and off he goes. They ride out into the sunset to go check out. There's like an encampment kind of thing where there's all these like criminal elements hanging out, and this is where there's a fucking fabulous shootout. So he spies from above. He's like kind of taking a sight of the area, and there's an IG bounty hunter who's like going in there, fucking shit up. Kills all these dudes. This is just a great shootout scene overall. This is a great Western moment.
And I gotta say that I've not seen how IG units operated in combat before. This is something I've been reading about since I was a kid for years, and to see it in action is like so thrilling, and how cylindrical his movements are and how fluid it is.
Oh, this is a full-on nerd boner for me, man. It just absolutely. I don't use that term often, but it was just like exactly what I wanted from this show, and it was fantastic.
Like this, the way they just have it swinging around, and he's clearly seeing out like multiple sides of his head at the same time. Like, it was awesome. Eric, it was really awesome.
Was this a fleet of Bosks they were fighting? I couldn't tell, or just something similar.
There might be like one or two in this cadre of men, but in the second episode, you do get Trandoshans.
Okay.
The Bosks I know for sure are the ones in the beginning of the second episode, but these look more like a mix of like different kind, like a gang.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought too. So he kind of teams up with this IG unit. He suggests that they, split the reward that's on the bounty. And this is Taika Waititi, by the way, is voicing IG-11.
Doing a good job, I think.
Such good comedy here too, like doing the whole "I will self-destruct" thing. Don't self-destruct.
Yeah, all the self-destruct stuff is really funny. So they kind of have their whole thing. This moment where the Mandalorian fucking jumps up on this machine gun and just lays waste to these dudes. Wow, I was cheering. So awesome.
I believe this is like a reference to the Western with Franco Nero, Django, which is also what then Jango Fett was named after. So it's kind of like a roundabout reference.
Yeah, no, I would buy that.
Django, yeah, that makes sense.
So they break down the door after all these dudes are killed. And the little tracking device is still working. He goes up to the door, up to where the signal is pointing him towards, I guess. And there's a little space bassinet, and inside is like a baby race of Yoda.
Yeah, and there's a pretty cool, I like the intrigue here because earlier in the episode, Herzog is like, look, I know it's going to be difficult for you, you're a Mandalorian. You can kill it, but give me a proof of termination, or you could bring it in alive. The doctor wants it alive.
Right.
But now the Bounty Hunter Guild, which the IG unit is working for, wants this thing definitely dead. So there's definitely competing interests, and nobody knows why, kind of a thing. Which I'm into finding that out.
And the Yoda, the species, it's called Mogwai.
You know what's funny is bringing in Yoda's species is I never really read anything about it. I thought maybe it was involved in like the Jedi Order books or something, but I looked into it and it looks like George Lucas, no one ever defined what his species was.
So there's no name for it, huh?
Yeah, there's apparently no name for it.
Huh.
I think this entire pairing is pretty brilliant. I never thought I'd see a Yoda and a Boba Fett hanging out together, you know?
Yeah. So the IG unit is going to fucking shoot this little thing. And this is a great moment of characterization right here. The Mandalorian's like, motherfucker. And I love the way that they do this. It's like you see the shot of the blast, like the reflection of the blaster or the light from the blaster go off. And then it cuts to the floor and this fucking robot goes down, dude.
You know, I loved it, but I would respect the Mandalorian a little more if he blew the fucker up too. That's all he wanted was to explode. You know, man, like
his last wish.
Exactly. You want to kill this guy, fine.
Sure.
But at least end him in the manner of his religion. You know, everyone's respecting your Mandalorian bullshit.
Sure. You're totally right, man. Yeah, you should have let him self-destruct.
Yeah. Weapons are my part of my religion, and also not making fun of me is part of my religion, and also
not paying taxes.
And I think it's a pretty great last shot of the episode is he like kind of reaches out and the little cute guy raises his little finger up, and you know that's chapter 1 of The Mandalorian.
I do love this what do you call it there, I do love the end credits sequence is really cool for me. The whole
the
comic
drawings
thing, it's really
I love that. I love So much so that the first 2 episodes are synced up on my phone. The score in this, I love the music in here. It's like,
yes,
it's amazing.
It's so anti John Williams, which I think is super smart. Like, just get away from all of that. It's like electric, it's computery. It's weird.
The Black Panther guy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Some parts sound a little like the Predator with all the drums and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, actually, if you go right now at least on Apple Music, you can sync. They have like them set up as 2 different albums, the
neat.
soundtracks to these 2 episodes. Yeah. So that I think wraps up the first episode of the Mandalorian Half-Hour. This was chapter 1, and I think we already know chapter 2. We're going to be recording that in a minute, actually. So like I guess maybe Steve had the idea when we end these out. Like obviously it's not a recommendation situation, maybe a letter grade kind of deal. So Steve, it was your idea. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, no, a B+. I think I would give this. I thought it was just exactly kind of what I wanted. I love the action sequence alone is it'll be one of my favorite Star Wars action set pieces. The one, the big shootout at the end with the IG unit, like Eric said, not to step on him. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to give this thing an A because this whole series is probably going to be straight A's for me. The IG-11 fight alone puts it over the top for me. Werner Herzog, put Werner Herzog in anything, totally. I'm there for it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, a B+ is probably good. I could have done without the training with the Berg, but almost everything else is pretty solid. And as Eric said, just seeing Werner Herzog in this made my year. Like I cannot tell you how much I loved seeing him in this.
Yeah, I would go. I think I'm closer with Eric, like A, maybe A-, but leaning closer to A. I fucking loved it. It felt like not a completely different Star Wars, but just like different Star Wars in a way. Like it's small town Star Wars.
I will say this, at least this one episode, and ideally this project is going to be my favorite of the non-Skywalker Star Wars we've done so far. Like Rogue One, Solo, and now this. It's just the best so far, by far.
Yeah. So 2 A's and 2 B+ is not too bad of a start. For the Mandalorian, I think that would pretty much average into an A- show rating.
Mm-hmm.
So like we said up top, this episode is out on the main feed for everyone to get a taste. Be sure to head over to our Patreon if you're already a subscriber at the $8 level to get episode 2. And if you're not a subscriber yet, head on over, check that out. There's a lot of cool stuff there. But until next episode, this has been the Mandalorian Half-Hour. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Eric Siska.
Steven Sadek.
Chris Cabin.
Take it easy.